إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I am mad excited today because we are almost through with master letters, and this is the alphabet and the foundation through which we will learn all the other sciences through these letters, okay? And we'll be referring back to these lessons so much so to become second nature once we get through it. But we got to go through it. Even from those people who have learned it on their own and mastered them to certain proficiency, it's a good idea to just go through these lessons, take your time, do it as fast as you can or as slow as you want to, but get through them because in these is a lot of fundamentals. Alhamdulillah. So today, Ya Masar, we're going to go through the next letters, and this is called thaa. These letters are thaa. The letters are thaa. Everybody say thaa, kha, and dhaal. These are the three letters that we're doing today. Thaa, thaa, kha, dhaal. Now we need to pay close attention. This class, you got to keep your mouths open because during this class, if you don't do what I do, you may not experience the exact place where you enunciate these letters or understand why these sifat or these descriptions are tied to these letters. And that's the whole objective for this, to know with exactness, with dabt, exactly what these letters where these letters are pronounced. Okay? Remember, we started off with Bismillah, then Alhamdulillah, then blessings on the Prophet. I'll have my say with you today concerning descriptions of their numerals, points of articulation, as each one comes and as it does, it has its own sensation. So we have descriptions, which is the sifat, right? Descriptions of their numerals, points of articulation, which is the makhraj, right? And what else is that? Tajweed, right? As each one comes and as it does, it has its own sensation. Let's go through this again. Thaa. Now, these are tongue twisters. Why are they tongue twisters? Because these letters, these sounds that you have to get accustomed to saying. And you already know some of these letters from the English language, so why reinvent the wheel? Let's go to some sounds that we already know, right? This one says thaa. 500th thought from north to south, say thaa like think, author, your mouth. Think samtun, rikhwun, hamsun, thaa. Isfalun, fathun, thank you, thaa. Tip tongues for thaa, they split the teeth. Press under top through jagged teeth. Ikhfa, that thief, he steals the noon, throws up his thumbs in thrilling moves. Thaa. Okay? Now, here we go again. The first thing we want to understand, we're going to find out thaa. Thaa is the numeric value of thaa is what? 500. How do we know? And here it says 500th thought. So the thought that we have for this one is 500. And he says 500th so you can get that thaa sound. When you say fifth, I know in New York we say fifth with an F. But it's properly pronounced fifth, okay? And see, with the thaa, I don't want to steal from the poem, but you stick your teeth between your tongue. And not only do you stick it between your tongue, you press it up. Your tip tongue goes up on the bottom part of your jagged teeth, which are your cutting teeth, your front teeth, your buck teeth, or whatever you want to call them, okay? So it says 500th thought from north to south. Here, north to south is just to give you that thaa sound. Okay? North to south, right? It says, say thaa like think, author, your mouth. Here he's saying, say thaa like think. Here the thaa is in front of the word. Author, here's the thaa is in the middle of the word. Your mouth, here the thaa is at the end of the word. So he deals with it in the front, middle, and at the end of the word. Why does he take that detail? Because this is a sound in English, it's a diphthong. What is a diphthong? In actuality, it should be a letter. In the English language, TH together should make a letter. Why? Because it has its own distinct sound. And an alphabet is supposed to be a visual expression of the oral sounds that the people make. So if people use thaa to make up a word, then that should be a letter. Okay? In Arabic, we have it. thaa. That's why the argument is always that English is not an orthographic language. Okay? So they call it a diphthong. They take two other known letters, T and H, and they put them together to make the thaa sound sometimes. But English is so complicated that sometimes the T and H also make the dhaal sound. Right? When we say this and that. Same T and H. So the person learning English has to determine and learn through experience which one means thaa lightly and which one means the in a heavy way. Right? And there's no particular rule that he can say, because you can say thesis or you can say these. Right? So he has to learn these things. Okay, back to the poem. Fifth hundredth thought from north to south, say thaa like think, author, your mouth. The thaa in the front, middle, and the end. Think samtun rikhun hamsun thaa isfalun fathun, thank you thaa. Here he's giving you the sifat. The sifat, the description of this letter. Pay attention to them. Because thaa has that samtun. He started off with samtun, control. But when you hear thaa, you don't think about control. But you do have to control it. You have to control from making it too hard and saying the. If you pressure up too hard, what happens? You say the. Right? And it vibrates. Everybody say the. No, say the. Now say think. You see how you controlled it? You controlled it so it wouldn't be too hard. That's what he's talking about when he says samt. Rikhwun. Everybody say rikhwun. What is rikhwun after all this time? Ya Mahmoud. Ya Ahmed. What is rikhwun? Weakness. It's spilling. It's spilling. When we say weakness here, we don't mean flabby muscles sitting in front of the TV, you know, eating potato chips and corn dip. We're talking about that it's so unshapeable that you can't put your hands on it. It spills. You can't control it to the point where it comes out in a certain way. It spills all over your mouth. Say thaa. You see it? The sound. It's spilling. That's why we know when we see rikhwun, what do we know coming next? Hamsun. Hums. Say it's whispering. So these sifat ain't nothing new. And ain't nothing so deep and mysterious that we have to think about no more. Once we get accustomed to just going through it, by the time we get to the end of the letters, we'll know what sifat they have by listening to it. Right? No. And then we get some direction from the ulama who've gone through this. Isfalun. What is isfal? Safala. Asfala safalin. To be low. Say thaa. Say it again and think about where your tongue is coming from and going. Say thaa. Close your mouth. Say thaa. It comes from the low position. And it goes up. Why? Because it has to come up. Because if you think about it, it says, well, I'm going to go to it in a little minute. Then it says, fathun. Say, fathun. What is fathun? Opening how? Like this. Like a door. So your mouth is shaped like a doorway. For those people who haven't seen this before, it's shaped like a doorway. Thaa. Right? Up and down. As opposed to its back, which is all. Rounded. So we say so we say thaa. We don't say Thor. Right? We don't say Thor like they say Thursday. We say thaa. Okay, so that's that fathun, opening. Then we say thank you, thaa. Here, it's just again, to recur over and over again, that thaa sound. Then it goes right here. It tells you, it describes very detailed how you say that thaa. It tells you the action you have to do. The action, he says, tip tongues. Everybody say your tip tongue. Tip tongue. Tip tongue. Here, I'm showing you. When I say tip tongue here, I mean, this is the tongue, right? Now, I mean this whole area right here. This is the tip of the tongue, okay? Okay? You see, just the tip of it. Not here. Some people think that's the tip. I mean this. This is what I mean here. This whole area of the tongue. If this is the tree of the tongue, this is the tongue. You understand? Tip tongues for thaa, so the tip of tongue for the thaa, as opposed to the tip of tongue for raw, for id, right? Take the tip and upper part of that thing you call tongue, that's different. So tip tongues for what? Thaa, which we showed what we mean here. They split the teeth. Say teeth. You see that? And he extended it. They split the teeth. Here the teeth are together. So the tip tongue must what? Split them. Get between them. Break them up. They split the teeth. Press under. They press under what? The top. So these are the top, so they're pressing under the top ones. They're going up here. Through jagged teeth. Which ones are jagged? These two in the middle, right? So that's where they're pressing up. Say F. F. Not F. F. That tip tongue must split the teeth. Those lazy-mouthed people who don't use their tongue to split the teeth, they don't make the thaa sound. And that's why they say sa. They say sa. Thaqib. No, it's thaqib. Tha. Your tongue must what? Split those teeth. And it must press up in a way that doesn't press too hard. Right? So there's some gentleness in there. Okay? That's the weakness. Tip tongues for thaa, they split the teeth, press under top through jagged teeth. Ikhfa, that thief, he steals the news. What's ikhfa? Tajweed rule. Here we got the tajweed rule. The tajweed for this is ikhfa. Okay? Now, this is not a tajweed class, so I'm not going to explain about ikhfa. But you should be familiar with it if you know lahnul khafi or shirkul khafi, the hidden shirk. That's why he's described as a thief, because it's kind of hidden. Okay? Ikhfa, that thief, he steals the noon. So that's telling you something about the hukum, the ruling with the ikhfa with regards to the noon. Okay? Throws up his thumbs in thrilling moves. You know, somebody throws up his thumbs like this, yo, you got one. So that is thaa. And all that is just to complete the thaa sound. Throws up his thumbs in thrilling moves. It's just going like this. Thaa! Okay? So that's how we do thaa. Okay, next one. The next letter that we have is thakhid, kha. Everybody say kha. We did this one. This one was with fat, right? Automatically, when you hear this, when you hear kha, everybody say kha. In Egypt, and most Egyptians, I'm not trying to beat up on Egyptians. I love everybody. However, this is a point that's realistic. If you're ever in Egypt or in Tanta or one of those places, people lean out the window, Ya Khalid. They say kha. This is incorrect. It's kha, Khalid. Khalidina fiha. Kha, not kha. So the proper way to say this sound is when you hear kha, what do you know? What automatically do you know about a sifat? Round mouth. So even if we don't know what round mouth is called, we know it's round mouth. We know it's not open mouth, right? Round mouth here means itbaq, right? Kha. You see my mouth? Kha. 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 This is one of the letters that if you don't have enough water in your system, you will never be able to pronounce it. Because if you haven't drank enough water, you don't have it. Because part of enunciating this letter is to have the water salivating on the back of your tongue and bubbling. Say kha. Say ich. Ikhfa. You see it? It's right there. That's water, saliva, spit, whatever you want to call it. It's bubbling up at the back of the tongue where the throat is at, and that's making that disturbance, which is bouncing off the voice box, calling that kha, kha. This is the sound that most people make fun of Arabs about, that hakima, kha, and they make fun of us. I don't care. I eat chicken and drink collard greens or whatever they say too. You know what I'm saying? So a watermelon and I forget how it goes. Fried chicken and watermelon, and speak broken English from Brooklyn, you know. It doesn't make a difference. One of the things of Jahiliyyah, and we say ayyam of Jahiliyyah, or the things that people talk about from Jahiliyyah, and you hear the different shi'ukh talking about, it's to blame somebody for something that had nothing to do with. You know, it got nothing to do. It's from your culture if it's not against Islam. Okay? So because we make that sound doesn't make us bad people. It doesn't make it stupid. Okay? It doesn't make that person an idiot. Okay? So the proper way to pronounce it is going to be found here. Since kha is not a sound that's found in our daily speech, then say it about 600 times until with kha you speak. Idhar, and that's a fact. When kha comes after noons, then hamsun, rikhun, fathun, samt, and isti'la for tools. The back of tongue is soaking wet and air is blowing down upon the back before the edge to make that kha-like sound. Kha. Go back to the top. Okay? We're going to break it down again. Since kha is not a sound that's found in our daily speech, then say it about 600 times until with kha you speak. Why is this? Kha is one of those letters that we can't get around her. Okay? We can't, ain't no letter in English like kha. We ain't got it good like that. So we just have to practice it. Practice and practice. Hear it and say it. Hear it and say it. Rewind, delete, or whatever. Hear it. Kha, 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 kha. If you say it 600 times, you should get it. Kha, akh. You know what I'm saying? Akh, ich. You know, those sounds that we do say in English, those are the kha sound. But there's not necessarily a word for that. There's no word in English called ich. And then, so here this is kha. And 600 is what? The numeric value for kha. So we know that. So it's thrown in there like that. Then it says idhar, and that's a fact. When kha comes after noons. Okay? So we know that already because if we study tajweed, what do we know? Huruful idh, the first letters of noon as-sakin wa tanween. Hamza fa ha'un thumma aynun. Ha'un muhmalatani thumma ghaynun kha'u. Right? So we know kha has idhar. You see how your lessons punch each other? One supports the other one. So we know that idhar comes with astaghfirullah. We know that idhar comes with kha as a tajweed rule. When kha comes after noons. Then hamsun, rikhwun, fathun, somtan, isti'la. Oh, isti'la. Here we have a sound, a sifat that we didn't hear before. Most of the times when you don't hear this sifat often, usually it doesn't have a opposite, right? But here, isti'la is the opposite side of istifal. Okay? So, then hamsun. What is hamsun? Whispering. Say ich. You see that? What's considered whispering is if you cannot stop the sound. Because it's control, it has its own way of going. Rikhwun. We know it's weak, right? And another thing here, when we talk about weak, it's how much pressure you put on it. You can't do kha with shiddah, you'll get a sore throat. You'll scrape your back of your tongue. If you try to do it hard, I won't even try, because it's painful. You know, but you can imagine if you say, now try real hard, you won't even try it, because it'll hurt your back of your throat, right? Everybody can imagine that? So that's why rikhun, he is that weakness, that gentleness, okay? Fathun, you open your mouth, kha. Right here, a samt. Everybody, this shouldn't be fathun, it should be itbaq. But here, samtun is control, okay? We control the sound, okay? Kha, you see how you're letting it roll? Kha, ich, ach. Then it goes, isti'la. Isti'la is the raising up. You see, you move, kha. You see your tongue in your mouth? Kha. If you feel it, even the liquid will bounce off the top of your mouth. If you go kha. You understand what I'm saying? So, the back of tongue is what? Soaking wet. And air is blowing down. This is what's happening. When you say kha, say it again. Kha, you be conscious. You're actually blowing air. Comes up your throat. You blow air on the back of your tongue when it's soaking wet. At the place, the back, the far, upon the back before the edge of the, right there in the throat. That's what makes the kha sound. So say kha. Do you feel yourself blowing air on it now? Say kha. Akh. You see, that's air, that pressure. And that's vibration is making that sound. Kha. Kha. It's not kha, it's kha. You see that? And that's the consciousness that I want you guys to have when you're making it. Know that you're blowing air on that part. And if it's wet enough, it'll vibrate and bubble up and say kha. Kha. We got it? Let's move on. Simple, right? Good son? Okay, dhal. Everybody say dhal. This is a sound that most people think is not in English language. But it is in the English language. It's the TH just like thaa. But it's the hard TH. And a lot of people pronounce it with Z. I ain't got Z, nothing got to do with it. It's the word like you say the. Say the. And the. Okay, the word the is, as a point, the, T-H-E, is pronounced the. When it's before, say the. When it's pronounced before consonants. Everybody know what a consonant sound is? That's B, D, G, H. And it's pronounced the when it's before a vowel. A, E, I, O, U. Okay? So it's the and the. Both are correct, but they're correct in their place. There's something a lot of people don't learn. Why am I mentioning that? Because as we go through this poem here, it should be taken into mind that the and that has different sounds before different letters. So let's go through it. Their mothers, fathers, sis, and brothers, though 700 deep, they came together, said that like this and that, the other, then used ikhfa for thou, my brother. And thus their tongues came through their teeth with jahrun, rikhun, piece by piece. Then samtun, fatun, istifal. They are all pronounced when you say thal. Thal. Let's go back again. Here in this poem, again, what was used is the same technique that's used in all the other ones. We only got 3 letters left. Okay? This is almost the last letter. So we know what's going on by now. He's giving you sounds in the English language, through words in the English language, that you can pronounce the same sound that you would like to pronounce in the Arabic language. And that's dhal. So he says, there, say there. Mother. Not like we say it in the Bronx, mother. We say mother with a V. It's my brother. But the proper way in the English language, that's why I say don't go to Brownsville to learn how to speak English. Because you'll be like, what's happening, brother? I'm from the South with an F as opposed to South with a TH. So here it says there. Say there. There. Mothers. Fathers. Sis and brothers. Though. Now 700 deep here means what? What does 700 deep mean? Numerical value of the letter. So if we memorize this, it becomes easy to remember that dhal is 700. And if we forget, we already know the technique. Write it out. Abjad, hawaz, huttiya, sa'fas, qurishat, 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 100, 100, 200, 300. You write it out, you got it, right? No secrets here. It's all out there. You ain't trying to hold nothing back. So they came together. So then it says, said that like this. And that. The other. All these sounds use dhal. And we use them every day. But we still get to the Quran and say zal. Zalika. No zalika. Dhalika. If you could say this, that, the other, you could say dhalika. Dhalika khayrun lakum. You know, that. So then it says that like this and that, the other. Then used ikhfa. What does ikhfa mean right there? For dhal, my brother. So then use ikhfa for dhal, my brother. Use the ikhfa for dhal. And we can remember that, right? Then use ikhfa for dhal, my brother. And thus their tongues came through their teeth. Here it goes. Thus there. That's that dhal sound, right? Through their teeth. Okay? So here we says, thus their tongues came through their teeth. Let me see that tongue. Say dhal. You see the tongue has to come through those teeth. As Qasim Ahmed, hafidhahullah, what he used to say, teeth and tongue. Right? We learn from these brothers. That. May Allah guide them. I mean, that. So thus their tongues came through their teeth with what? With jahrun, rikhun, piece by piece. So here, piece by piece is just to end the line. But here, jahrun and rikhun, we know it has to be loud. Say that. Why does it have to be loud? Because it's so similar to what other sound? Say thaa. That. So one has to be loud as the other one is light. Do you understand why? See, it's not enough just to know it, but we need to know why so we can know what we're doing and why. General Al Gray used to say, it's not how many troops you send out there, but it's the quality. Each one got to know what they're doing. So if the last man said he knows what his objective is, you know what your objective is by taking it jahrun. Somebody else might say, oh, it's just jahrun, we can leave that alone. No, you leave it alone, you make a thaa. Right? So it's that. So jahrun, rikhun, we know the rikhun, right? Peace, which is weakness. Then samtun, okay? We're controlling the sound. That. Say it again. Say that. Now drag it. Say that. You see that? That's that sump because you want to press it up there harder than when you say thaa. Say thaa. Same place. Now say that. Only difference is that you might stick your tongue out more when you say dhal. Say dhal. Now say thaa. You hear it? Do you feel it? Okay. And still it has to be wet, doesn't it? When you pull it in, you have to wet it. Showing the water that you need in your system. These are things that you're conscious of, that you do purposely. Some people put the water there and they just want to look cool. No, put the water there and use it for the purpose that it's there for. Okay, we're going here. Thus their tongues came through the thing with Yahanun Rekhwan, peace, with something. Fatun is opening the mouth. Istifal, because you're coming from the down to go up, right? Lowing, right? They're all pronounced when you say dhaal. All these things are used when you say dhaal. No, do I have any questions about this? This is pretty easy, right? I mean, this is kid stuff now, right? All we got to do now is go through it. And after we go through it, then the only thing upon you is to memorize. Because if you memorized it and you listen to the lesson, you good, you packing, you can now teach this thing. I mean, is it something difficult? Do you need a PhD to do it? So with that, أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.